Hi art friends, welcome to another episode of Let's Struggle Together. Today I'm doing rendering and trying to figure it out. So for this I chose to do my creepy style, which is just me making like creepy monsters and then figuring them out. You'll be able to see it in the background, but there's going to be multiple sections. We're going to start off with asking ourselves some questions about what we want to accomplish. Then we are going to try and pick lighting, talk about like what it is that makes it important, and just stuff like that. And we'll go as we get into this. But I really hope you guys will enjoy this video. I hope you are having an awesome day. Please make sure to like and subscribe and share this with a friend if you want to. Now with that being said, let's get into this. Okay, so first things first, we're going to talk about, drumroll please, starting questions. So we are going to ask ourselves, I think 3 or 4 questions. What do you want your art to look like? Is there a specific artist that you want to kind of replicate their style in some ways that they do this, or they render like this, or just stuff like that. Examples are Sam Does Art on YouTube and Fleshwad. I'll put them up here soon. What will make me happy with my art? What do I want my style to look like? For my personal answer, I want something creepy but cute at the same time. I want to be able to multitask in that sense, to where I can do something like really cute one day and then creepy the next day. Here's an example up on the screen. So this is what I'm going to be working on, and there's the colors. So this is me just starting work. I'm putting in like details and stuff like that. I'm also figuring out my lighting. Now I will bring up here shortly why lighting is so important when it comes to rendering, but I didn't do that yet. This is just me going over, making sure that everything kind of has like its own color, and I went and replaced those base colors with the actual colors I will be using. I also wanted the skin to have a more textured look other than just plain white, and then I also was messing with the spines and bones on this character. I had to do a lot of look into some things that could put me on the FBI watch list just for the hands, because I wanted them to be like a meaty texture. Hate that. I absolutely hate rendering. It's so stressful, and I'm always second guessing myself and just like, oh god, this sucks. I have found a way to do bones pretty reliably. I like just doing horizontal lines. I think that's how you say it, horizontal lines, and it usually just gives like a texture to it that I don't think anything else can do. And I also do that kind of thing with dreads for black people, which is just an odd comparison, but you can see me working on arms now. I just had an idea for them where they're just like kind of fleshy, more muscly, and to achieve this I had to do a lot of things, and they just ended up looking like they have a bunch of holes in them, and I have a big fear of a lot of holes together. It's just yuck. So it's whatever. I don't think I achieved this as well as I could have. I tried to replicate like the texture I see in meat and stuff like that. I had to look up a lot of images like that, and I swear, if you're an artist, you know this. You're probably on some fucking watch list somewhere because of what we have to search up. I got tired of doing like the little circles, so I just colored it all in. I'm like, okay, erase where I want the circles to be. And then a lot of work went into those circles. I don't know what else to say here because I got fed up with trying to script this. I hate scripting, and that's going to be an episode eventually. But you can see me deepening in these by putting in holes and stuff like that. You can see me later in the video darkening even further into those holes. And then I add like white. I don't know why I added white, but I see a lot of white in meat, so I figured I'd try and sneak that in there, but a lot of these just ended up looking like a lot of faces. Let's be honest. They look like weird little goofy faces, and I can't unsee that. I wasn't going to mention it because it kind of ruins that scare factor that this piece has, but it's whatever. Here you can see me putting in those whites, and yeah, it kind of just didn't do what I wanted, and I had to go in and fix that later, but I didn't know what to do here, and that's a topic for another day, honestly. I am making up things because I don't know what to say. So this is really just me going over like all the holes and making them more in depth, and then I added some like kind of lighting, I guess. I had some detail. I kind of blended everything. Here is an example of dramatic lighting. I really recommend these circle practices. They can help a lot, but lighting is really important because that gives you where your shadows are going to be, and it's just really overall, when you're doing art, good to have an idea of what kind of lighting you want. It does help my art a lot and make it less muddy, and it's just overall easier. And not only lighting, but the color of your light is also important. So I do recommend looking into learning lighting, and maybe we'll go into it in the next video or something. But this is just gonna be an example of what you can do, and often how I start out with it as well. So for this piece, I decided to go do a rim lighting shot from this photo I found, the one that's going to be in the background, off of Pinterest. That came up late, but okay. So yeah. Anyway, that's just why it's really important overall, because you can really know where your base is going to be lit, where anything in your composition will be, what's going to be in color, what's not. It takes a lot. I think it's a little bit more complicated than colors theory, but it is still something very important to learn. Anyway, back to drawing. So this is just me defining the lighting, just going through. I'm using a blend brush. I took and erased out the whole door, and then I went ahead and just highlighted some places I wanted the light to kind of look like it's reflecting. The eyes was a differently big one. Here you can see me going through, and I took and used my marker brush that I use, and I just went ham. I did darker colors where they should have been, lighter colors, and then I also took the original skin tone and also did that. No blending was used at all. And then I also used an overlay layer to really help on all these parts, which is when you see me put like red, blue, and other colors. The red's usually where blood's going to be pumping, the blues where it's not, and just like taking that down on a lower opacity really gives more light to the drawing. So I did that separately for all of the parts that I was working on, and here's the final piece. Overall, I don't think I learned pretty anything, but I do like the technique I was using to color render this and shade this, which is just I stopped blending and I was just throwing lines at the canvas and making it work. Anyway, bye, hope you enjoyed.